Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you and I'm so glad you clicked on. Today we are going to be we're doing a little double whammy. In this video we are doing my fall TBR and fall book recommendations for you guys. I have quite the stacks in front of me. For my fall TBR, it's very much like open because I have so many books on my TBR. Obviously, all of the books behind me I have not read, so it is a goal of mine to get through quite a bit more of these. I do have all of the books in front of me that I would like to read, plus one more that I'm actually going to go buy today because I really want to read it. I've been recommended it by my friend, so I'm going to pick it up today, but we will talk about that shortly. I have recommendations of fantasies, romance, magical realism, thrillers. We've got quite an array here. Very excited to get in and talk about these books. Some of these books are like some of my favorite books that I've read, so I'm excited to recommend them to you guys and just jump right in. We'll start with my TBR because it is a lot smaller than my recommendations and I don't have anything to say about the books other than I want to read them. So let's go ahead and jump right in to my fall TBR. Alright, so as I'm filming this, it is September 17th, which means fall is literally right around the corner. First day of fall is September 22nd, so maybe this video will go up then, who's to say. The first book that I would like to read is Pumpkin Spice Cafe. My friend Princeton actually read it and recommended me to read it. He thinks I'll really enjoy it, so I've been seeing it float around Bookstagram and it definitely looks like something that I would really enjoy, so I'm gonna go pick that up today. And then I do have a plan for a fun little video concept in the month of October. I do want to read some witchy romances, so first things first, I have Go Hex Yourself. I don't know much about this book. I got this as a gift for my last birthday. My birthday is in October, so witchy books are pretty popular for my birthday, but I'm very excited to read this. I think it's going to be funny. I love a good witch romance. I think that they're just cheesy and goofy and they're always just such a fun time. So I'm hoping to pick this up. And then I also have This Spells Love. I honestly randomly got this with Book of the Month because I thought that the cover was way too cute to pass up. So I would really like to pick this up. I haven't heard too much about this book, but if I enjoy it, I will of course always let you guys know. And this one is actually really exciting. I saw this at Target and I was like, immediately have to get it. This is just such a stunning book. It is called The Coven. I am aware that this is a series, but my sisters and I have a book club, so we will be picking this up for our October book of the month. I'm really excited about it. I think that this is a paranormal witch romance, and I think it's a darker romance as well. I don't know, the cover just gives October. Like, I don't know. And then some more witchy romances that I would just love to get to. I have I cannot stand this title. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. That is just a mouthful. But I am very interested in this book. I know it was a hit last year and I believe it's a series now. So I'm hoping to pick this up pretty soon here. I think this is the last like witch romance book that I have, but we have a Small Town Big Magic. I've had this since last year as well and I just never got to it, so I'm hoping to pick this up. I did hear good things about this last year. And then a really fun book that I'm really excited to get to actually is Harry Potter. I haven't read any of the books and I've like barely watched the movies, so I am going to start my Harry Potter journey a bit late as I am going to be 23 next month. I'm really excited to get into this. It's pretty short and small, so I'm hoping that this is just a fun, good time read, and I hope that it kind of gets me immersed into the world and maybe I'll really enjoy it. I definitely want to watch the movies after I read the books, so I'm hoping to accomplish that by December. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but that is my goal. And then this book is actually stunning. I'm so excited to read it. It is The Spell Shop. I have heard pretty good things about this, but I don't actually know what it is about. But this edition is actually from Owl Crate, either Owl Crate or Fairy Loot, I can't remember, but it's literally one of the most stunning books I think I own. It has beautiful edges, beautiful end papers. Are you kidding? It's gorgeous. The next book is actually In Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. I have tried to start this 2 times and both times I just like haven't been in the mood for it, haven't wanted to continue it, so I'm really going to try this fall to finish this book because I do love TJ Klune. I loved House in the Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door, so I just want to keep loving it. I do also want to read Summer Beyond the Sea. I don't own it right now, and I don't know if it's like going to be a fall book, so I didn't put it on this TBR, but I feel like this just gives like woodsy fall, like those type of vibes, so that's why this is on there. But I really want to like this book. I think it might just like not be my favorite from his, but I do want to read it because I do own it and I do know it's TJ Klune, so it can't be a bad book. A book that I have had on my TBR multiple months and multiple seasons is Six of Crows. I am determined to read this fall. I will do it. It is on my 24 books to read in 2024, so I feel like I can do it. I just need to sit down and start it, so hopefully I do that. And then the next book is kind of a little bit random, but I feel like fall is just the perfect time for this one. It is Can't Spell Treason Without T. I don't know anything about this book. Again, I just know it's a cozy fantasy, and I feel like that'll just be a fun little time in the fall. This is definitely one that looks like you can cuddle up on the couch with blankets and have a nice fall ambiance going on, and I think this is just gonna be maybe like a silly, goofy, cozy mystery type thing. And then I felt like I needed a thriller. I'll definitely be reading thrillers in the month of October, probably that last week. I have something else planned, but one that is really on the top of my list is His and Hers by Alice Feeney. I've read literally two books from Alice Feeney, and I've enjoyed both of them, so I'm hoping to give this a shot. I know my husband already read this one and he really liked it, so hopefully I have the same experience. But this is one of the top thrillers that I really want to read this month or this season. And then the final book that I own that I really would like to get to is none other than House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is a chunker, but I am going to be reading it pretty soon here. Probably right when fall starts, honestly. But I'm so excited to get into this, especially the way that House of Sky and Breath ended off on. I do in fact need to pick this up really soon. I just wanted to add it on to my fall TBR because I do know I'm gonna read it, but I think that it would just be fun to have it checked off another list. So that is the final book that is on my fall TBR. I will obviously have a winter book rec video coming out too, probably at the end of November, but that is a topic of conversation for another day. Now we are going to be getting into the fall recommendations that I have for all of you guys. And start with the romances because I think that that is the least that I have. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is just all of the cozy vibes. It is magical, it is cozy, it is like wholehearted and warm, and it does deal with grief, so if that's not something that you want, there is talk of grief and loss in this book, but I think it was written beautifully. I loved the timeline and the different, it was just a different type of romance. It is basically, I guess I should give you a little bit of a synopsis. This is following Clementine, and she loses her aunt. So her aunt gives her her apartment. Turns out the apartment goes 7 years in the past, but it's only in the apartment. No other aspect of the world is impacted. It's just the apartment. So in the time that Clementine is staying there, there is a 7 years past man, not a boy. There's a man that comes to the apartment and said that her aunt invited him to stay for the summer because he was in a cooking school and like needed a place to stay. Obviously there's a romance in here. It is such a beautiful romance and it's written so well. So if you're looking for a cozy, warm food, there's lots of food in this book. That type of vibe for the fall, I would definitely recommend The 7-Year Slip. This is one of my favorite romances. I love this book and I can't wait to reread it, but I'm definitely thinking that this is a really good one to pick up in the fall. And then another just fun one by Ashley Poston is The Dead Romantics. This is following a woman who can see ghosts. So if that doesn't scream fall, I don't know what does. I would highly recommend picking this up. It is really fun, but also has some depth to it. That's what I really like about Ashley Poston, is her books always have quite a bit of depth and make you feel something, and I really did enjoy this. My copy is like all sorts of messed up. It is losing the color on its spine. It's also funny because the female main character in this book is a ghost writer for an author, so it just kind of is it's like a perfect fall little book. So it is a very fast read as well, and it's very gripping, so I had a good time reading this. Next we have a little bit of a series. I recommend this every fall because these are books that I read. These are the first witch books that I read and got me absolutely hooked because they're just so fun. This is The X-Hex and The Kiss Curse. I read this in 2021. I still think about these books every fall season. I'm planning on doing a reread because I just literally had the best time. I've been waiting patiently for the third book to come out. If you're looking for a fun, well-built world with witches and like magic and curses, definitely pick these up. They are so fun. I just genuinely had the best time. And I really liked all of the characters. I'm so excited for the final book. And then the final romance is a paranormal romance by Allie Hazelwood. This is Bride, and I honestly really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 4 stars when I read it. It is just a fun vampire werewolf romance, and I feel like that screams fall. So I would definitely recommend picking this up if you're looking for something like that. It is a little bit spicy, so there's that aspect. The end goes crazy. If you know, you know. Arranged marriage, very big enemies to lovers, then very protective. It's just it's a really good book. I'm really glad that she stepped out and did a paranormal romance. I'm very excited to see what she comes out with next in this world, because I do think that this is going to be a series, if I'm not mistaken. But this was really fun. I definitely would recommend for the fall. Moving on, we are going to talk about the magical realism type of books and fiction. So first things first, we have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I'm obsessed with this book. It was just so, like, it was a big hug, I think, in the way that I would describe this book. And I think that the talk of loss and death in this book was done really well. It made me cry really good. And I don't know if this is like fall, but it does deal with like death, and there's a little tea shop, and it's just, the vibes are really good in this book, so I would recommend picking it up in the fall. I do wish that I read it in the fall. I think I actually read it in the winter, which wasn't a bad season to read it in, but definitely a very warm hug of a book with trauma. So I would recommend this one. And then I actually have a recent read for mine. It's Wayward. This is just such a beautiful, stunning book. Highly recommend picking this up in whatever season, but it has a bit of a nature magic type of aspect to it, which I think is just such a cool twist on a women's fiction. This is following 3 women over different decades who are all somehow tied together, and you find out while reading how and why. And it just shows a lot of strength, and I don't know, there was just these women are just so strong and so determined, and it was just really nice to read a story where the women were written so well. Amelia Hart's writing style is absolutely stunning. I was reading this and I literally couldn't think of anything else. Anytime I wasn't reading it, I needed to read it. I was enthralled in this story, and I think it'd be a great book to read at any time of the year, but specifically I think it'd be fun in fall since it does deal with some magical realism. It has nature aspects to it. There's some crows, there's some like creepy mystery ambiance kind of going on, so definitely recommend picking this one up. And we have The Unmaking of June Farrow. This was also such a good ambiance book. Like, the setting of this was done really well. Obviously the cover really speaks for itself. It gives magic, and it's a very interesting type of magic. It's definitely like a time travel, time warp type of a book. It is very similar to The Invisible Life of Ada LaRue in the aspect of time, but in the vibes, I feel like the vibes are kind of the same. This one also had a really big mystery element in it, and it was just fun to read this book and try and like find out what's happening, but also trying to learn some more about our characters. And there is a little bit of a romance in here, and it was just really good being in the woman's head. She was trying to figure everything out and trying to like make a decision, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really fun and really well done. So now let's go into the fantasy books that I have with me. A recent favorite read of mine is One Dark Window. Highly recommend picking this up. If you don't know what this is about, it is following the female main character Elspeth. She is in this world where there is a mist like taking over the kingdom essentially, and what it does is it makes people sick but then gives them like sort of powers, like, and these powers take away something from them. So some people go crazy, some people lose their memory, so it's just like a lot. But the way that this world was built, Rachel Gillig did a really good job on making it like complex but also easier to understand. So Elspeth has these powers. She got the fever and she was sick, and her father sent her to live with her aunt and her uncle to try and cover up the fact that she had gotten sick, but she hid her powers. So essentially she's going to this like ball thing, and she runs into basically the captain who captures people who have powers and kills them. And they actually find that she could be of use to them. So there is a little bit of a romance, there is a mystery, it's adventurous, it's dark and eerie. It was just such a great book, and definitely a really good book for the fall because the vibes are immaculate. I think that this was just one of the best fantasy books that I've read, so highly recommend picking this up. The romance in it was so good. I am so obsessed and I cannot wait to read the second one. Next, I have a series, House of Salt and Sorrows and House of Roots and Ruin. Both of these I would recommend for the fall because they are so eerie and creepy, and they're sinister. Like, these have such crazy plots in them. This one is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and this was just such a fun book to read. It was mysterious and chilling, and it just like kept me on the edge of my seat. I really, really enjoyed it. It ended on a cliff kind of hanger type of thing. There's a romance in it, very interesting storyline, and there's like a mystery and there's a curse. It's just a very good magical ambiance, but with creepy, chilling aspects. And then House of Roots and Ruin is the second book to that, and this one was also creepy. This one was dealing with like seeing ghosts and very mysterious where the female main character was, because she is part of House of Salt and Sorrows, but I don't want to give away too much because this is a very fun series to go into blind, because I did. Highly recommend these books. I think that there's a third one coming out. Again, don't know what it is. This is a dark gothic fantasy type of book, so highly recommend picking this up in the fall. And then of course The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is just a stunning book and I cannot wait to reread it. I loved the story of this. I loved seeing the female main character grow and change over time. The twist, kind of like when you met the second character in here, I was like, OMG. And it was just really good. I don't want to talk too much about it because obviously people know what this book is. It's been around for a little while, so I'm sure people have all read it, but I definitely recommend picking this up if you want something with magic and time, and definitely a strong female main character. And then another book that I recently read that I really enjoyed was Starling House. This was so creepy, haunted house type of vibe, and I thought that it was done super well. The romance in here was so tension filled. It was also kind of like he didn't want to, you know, be involved with her because he knew that his house is obviously not safe, and there was just a lot of aspects going into it, but it was kind of like a push and a pull type of relationship. It was done really, really well. The writing was stunning in this book, and I also feel like it was super engaging, kept me on my toes. I really wanted to know what was going to happen. He's broody, she's like determined but also questionable. Like, she's very curious, and I feel like that really added to the storyline, so definitely recommend picking this one up. Next, we have all of the thriller books that I would like to talk about. These ones are good if you're looking for a fun, fast-paced thriller. I have Kill for Me, Kill for You. This is one of my favorites that I've read this year. I really, really enjoyed this one. I definitely recommend picking it up. It is following a couple of different point of views, if I'm remembering correctly, and Honestly, the way that this book came together at the end, I was like, oh my god. Like, I think I guessed one thing out of like so many. So it was just genuinely such a good time. It was so entertaining, so fast-paced, kept me on my toes. I really wanted to keep reading. So, and then I have Only If You're Lucky. This is based on kind of like a college campus type of vibe, which I feel like is always fun for the fall time because obviously people are in school. It's following, again, quite a bit of point of views. There's a murder in here. There's a missing person. It's kind of like the female main character, Mario, has some secrets of her own that are unraveled throughout the story. So this one's super interesting. I definitely recommend this one. Then the next one is more of a cozy type of vibe. I have The Maid by Nita Prose. This was just a really interesting mystery. This is definitely, I don't think, a thriller. I would classify this more as a mystery. There is a murder and she is kind of like in the middle of it. She's like being convicted of murdering the person and she's also trying to find out who did it. There's a lot going on. She is obviously a maid and it is set in a hotel. It is very ambiance and it was really fun. I really enjoyed this one. It is a super fast read. There's also, I think, a second one and there's a Christmas novella coming out if I'm not mistaken, but it was just a fun time. I really liked this book and I think that it'd be a fun one for people to pick up during the fall. And then next, this is one that I also always recommend in the fall time. It is Wrong Place, Wrong Time. Such a good mystery thriller. It is following the, I think there's multiple point of views, hold on. Yeah, there's multiple point of views and honestly, this got me at the end. I had no idea what was happening. It was a crazy thriller. It is following a mom who sees her son kill someone outside of their house in their front yard, but then she gets stuck in a time warp type of thing. Or is it Groundhog Day where you wake up on the same day or something like that. It's a little bit crazy. She's trying to find out what happened, why she killed him, what is going to happen to her son. It's very like keeps you on the edge of your toes. So, or on the edge of your seat. So I'd highly recommend this one for the. And then next I have None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I did really enjoy this book. It is following a female main character who has a podcast and then another female main character who seems a bit crazy. And there's just a lot of mysteries going on. There's some lies being told, some like crazy things being said. So this was just a really fun one to keep reading. I really liked the podcast aspect. I think it added to the story a lot. And it was just a really, really interesting read. So I would recommend this one. And then the final book that I'm going to recommend you guys is The Last Thing He Told Me. I read this in one sitting and it was just so good. I could not put it down. I was really interested in the mystery aspect of this book, but I also found that the storyline was so intriguing because this book is following a female main character whose husband, I believe they're married. If not married, then together in some way. He goes like away. He's missing. He's gone. Don't know where he is. And this woman is basically in charge of taking care of his 16-year-old daughter, but she also wants to know what happened to her dad. She wants to find him. She knows that he didn't just up and leave her. So it is like kind of a mystery of trying to find him and see what happened. And it was just a really, really good like page turner. I really just kept going. It was really fun. And it's also a shorter read as well. I think this is like just 300 pages, maybe under. Would recommend picking that up, but I definitely just yapped your ear off. But anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. Those are all of the books that I would recommend for your fall TBRs, and those are my fall TBRs. Obviously, there are so many other books that can go for this season, and there's also these books can go for other seasons, but I just think it's a fun idea to set a TBR for a season and try and get through all of them. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you have any recommendations for me this fall, please let me know and leave them in the comments. I would love to add some more books to my TBR for the fall. I love a good witchy romance, a mystery, a thriller, a fun little cozy romance. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Toodaloo!